Well, good evening. Go ahead and finish your eating. While we're doing that, though, you guys have been here a long time today. Like I said, from 6:30 this morning, 7, and teaching, sitting through the whole time without more than 15-minute break in between two sessions. And that's a long time to listen. But like I said, it was really easy. Everybody do it. So if you really want to improve, sometimes you got to pay a little bit of a price. So we're going to have another leadership lecture tonight. Again, we've been trying to show where principles of success are the same in athletics, in business. No matter where you are in life, there are certain principles that are universal laws, and they make the difference of your success or not. The individual who's going to be speaking tonight is one of the most reputable coaches there are, has been in the ACC. In fact, he was the first person to go ahead and take Dean Smith and Mike Krzyzewski and beat them both in one tournament and go ahead and win the tournament. The guys from Florida State said, well, we're not going to let him keep that record, so they did something this year similar, but it's never been done before. Just a fantastic coach, and his legacy is something of unbelievable. The number of kids and young lives he's affected is remarkable, and so it's my pleasure to introduce you tonight for our speaker tonight, Mr. Bobby Crimmins.
Thank you, Bill. First, let me say it's an honor to be here. And I want to thank Bill Lamb for having me here and Bill Kobe. Those two gentlemen are the reason I'm here. And they told me what was going on. And obviously, Coach Rice being here. Coach told me to be very quick. I stopped by Roy Williams' office this afternoon. And I said hello to Roy. I was hoping maybe Coach Smith and Coach Gutchridge would be there also. They were out, but Coach Rice, Roy sent his best to everybody here, particularly you. It's a little uncomfortable being in enemy territory all the time. Obviously, Coach Rice told me to be quick, and Coach, I got to tell you something. I'm not speaking about leadership tonight. You all know why we're here. You and I are here for one reason tonight. We're here to pay tribute to you, Coach. We're here to pay tribute to Coach Homer Rice. That's the main reason we're here. There's a lot of great people. Jack Lingo, what an honor it is to meet you. Albert Long, for Letterman at North Carolina. That's impressive. I got to tell you, that's impressive. But obviously, Coach Rice has had a major impact upon my life. When I was in 1981, after coaching 6 years up in Boone, North Carolina at Appalachian State, Coach Rice took a chance on a young 33-year-old coach who had a Bronx accent and played for Frank McGuire at University of South Carolina. Now, that was important, the last part, playing at South Carolina for Coach Frank McGuire. Because I remember my sophomore year, we came back here to Chapel Hill. At that time, as you well know, South Carolina was in the ACC. We were having a great ball game. I was guarding Charlie Scott. I was playing with 4 seniors, and it was a nip and tuck game. I was having a good game as a sophomore. But with about 3 or 4 minutes to go, we were ahead by about 5 points. Now, you guys, you remember, and ladies, Dean Smith. You remember what he did at the last 3 or 4 minutes of a game whenever he was behind. It would last a half an hour. And he had this rule. He would pick the youngest player on the court, and he would foul him immediately. And so I was playing with 4 seniors. So I had about, I think, 14 points at the time. But every time, at about the 4-minute mark, every time I touched the ball, they fouled me. I mean, instantly. And I kept on going to the line, and I kept on making them. And we wind up winning 87-86, and I wound up with 23 points. And I think about 16 of them were all free throws. Coach Smith and I laugh about that a lot. He doesn't like to talk about it because they lost the game. But Coach Rice was there that night, and he saw me make those free throws. And when I came down to interview for Georgia Tech, Coach Rice remembered that, and he said to everybody, said, "This kid's a winner, and we should give him a chance." In 1979, Georgia Tech, ironically, replaced South Carolina in the ACC. And in 1980, they hired Homer Rice to become their athletic director. Georgia Tech they were really down. They were down. Their facilities were antiquated. They were really not truly prepared for the ACC. They had a great legendary football coach in Coach Bobby Dodd, but the spirit was down. And before we take over, I just want to mention three things that I remember the most about Coach Rice when he came to Georgia Tech and when he gave me that opportunity. The first move he did, and I'll always remember this because my offices were down by the basketball arena. The first thing he did, there was a football office, and he built this building called the Edge Building. And he wanted every coach to come have his office in this building. And he put a lunchroom in that building where all the athletes would have lunch and dinner. And he finished this building, built this building, and all the coaches, we all came from all over campus, and we came to one location. And that was key. And what that move did, that brought us all together as a family. And right off the bat, Coach Rice created a family atmosphere for all the coaches there by that one particular leadership move. Secondly, he brought the total person concept to Georgia Tech. And of course, the total person concept, it stresses a total commitment to the athlete, both on and off the court, off the field. Its big emphasis, of course, is on academics and wanted an athlete to be well-rounded. This concept was adopted by the NCAA as a role model for colleges across the country. And I'll always remember going out to Enid, Oklahoma and recruiting Mark Price. And when I brought him on campus, I had to meet with Coach Rice. And Coach Rice explained this concept to him and said, "Mark, this is what we're going to do for you at Georgia Tech. And when you leave Georgia Tech, this is what I expect out of you." And Coach, that was a real key meeting. And of course, Mark Price, he put Georgia Tech and Bobby Cremins on the map. The last point I want to make, and this is so important to me after all the years I've been in athletics, and as you know, I retired this year. Coach Rice, he allowed his coaches to run their own programs. But there was one point always brought up, and that was about integrity. He told us his number one rule was we could not break the rules. He said we could lose some games, but under no circumstances were we to break the rules. And if we did break the rules, then he would step in and he would be very strong. And he said we have to do it the right way. And I've always remembered that throughout my career. Whenever I talk to young coaches today, we know what goes on out there today. And it's so important that if you win the right way. So, Coach, I'm going to stop now because there's a lot of people that want to say some things about you. But it's a real honor for me to be here. This is a tremendous man. He looks great. I'll never forget Bernadette McGlade was our women's coach at the time. But Coach Rice, he took Georgia Tech and he brought it right into the ACC, and he made it a special part of the ACC. And Coach, I know I've thanked you personally many times, but one more time, I want to thank you personally for bringing me back to the conference where I played. And I lost a game. I lost in the ACC championship game in 1970. And that was my first crisis in my life. We lost to NC State. And one of my goals in life was to go back into the conference where I played and win an ACC championship that I was denied as a player. And Coach Rice gave me that opportunity. In 1985, with Mark Price making those free throws, we defeated North Carolina. We won our first ACC championship. So, Coach, thank you very much. And it's a real honor to be here. Thank you.